Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to continue on in our series about diet autoregulation. And we opened up the series talking about why this is an important concept, to give a person, a client, a competitor, the autonomy to really listen to their body and to realize that when they need some extra calories, there's probably a reason. Sometimes not. Sometimes you need to kind of work through that and understand that your blood sugar levels, getting into all of the glycolysis and lipolysis that you need to liberate body fat from body fat cells is necessary. But outside of that part of normal fat loss, when you're in that grind of losing weight, especially as you're getting leaner, you're bumping up against your metabolic set point, it's good to have some freedom in making those decisions. So Adam, you said that sometimes with a client, you'll give them a couple extra higher calorie days. So they're planned out, they know how to execute those, but they have the freedom to use them when they want. That's a big step. What about a client who just doesn't? They just kind of fall off the wagon one day. They have a little bit of a binge or just a higher calorie day. I have a client this morning who just emailed and said, man, I just had a little extra hunger. And so I had 30, 40 extra grams of carbs. And the question was, do I make up for that? Do I now reduce those levels? So outside of the client, you mentioned that you might have those higher days planned to use as they want. What do you do for a client that's having the kind of trouble I just described and they accidentally, quote unquote, had a higher day?
Yeah, what I like to do with clients like that, and I like that she coined about how much she went over. It sounds like it was a really responsible overage. What I might do is plan an emergency meal or an emergency snack that they can just easily carry around. So when we're working with athletes, we have to realize they're going through extremes that most athletes are not going through. Blood sugar gets low. It can be really dangerous in a gym format. There's a lot of sharp objects around. They could fall and hit their head if their blood sugar gets too low. So that's another reason I like to have clients kind of prepared to have just something you can go to, because if there's a McDonald's across the street and you have low blood sugar, you're probably not going to make the best decision. So it's almost like having a spare tire in your purse or your car. So I usually have clients in that situation just have an emergency stash of a meal that's portable, transportable, that they can eat. And we call that like an emergency snack. And we can definitely fit that in urgencies like that.
That is identical. I mean, 100% exactly what I do with my clients who feel they need that, almost down to the letter of having something defined that is kind of prepackaged. So you just don't have the issue of being tempted with more and more and more. It's not like you can go into the pantry and grab a handful of chips and expect to not go back. So that protein bar, that granola bar, something like that. I've even used this with a client who's really athletic, pretty big frame guy. I said, look, we've got your calorie modulated days. We know we want your higher calorie, higher fat days. We want your baseline days like this. But in the middle of the week, when you're having a baseline day, I would much rather you have a planned higher meal. Just let's just say that you're going to need this once a week, once every 2 weeks, but let's define it. What do you want? Let's just plan it so that's the go-to. Because if you can take that decision making out of the emotion and the hunger of the moment, you're just going to be better off. So we decided on like a 12-inch sub. Go to Jersey Mike's, Subway, Jimmy John's, somewhere. Here, what's your favorite sub? When you feel like the wheels are coming off and you need something, that's the meal. And it works great. Now the thought process is just immediate and there's no decision making to kind of flip flop around about.
I'm glad you mentioned a larger meal like that too. So many people don't believe that they can do that, because when they have a binge, they never eat just the amount that sub is. It's usually way more. So when people are listening to this and they're mind blown, like, how are these people getting lean and they're doing that? It's because even though they're going over, it's auto-regulated into their program and it's consistent, which is very important. So it works. We do it all the time.
Yeah, for some people, it may be smaller because, again, their physiology, their frame size, they just don't need that much. But You're exactly right. A 500 calorie sub is way better than a 2,000 calorie binge in terms of just sugar and fat and so forth. So let's roll on, you guys. In the next episode, I want to start talking to Adam about macros and how you may auto regulate macros. So stay tuned.